Westpac Bank has reported a higher full-year profit of over $1 billion. Joining us is Chief Executive Catherine McGrath. So, Catherine, what was behind the full-year result?
So I describe it as a pretty solid result. When you take the notables out, actually it was a flat year-on-year performance, or slightly down at 2% down. Our net interest margin has stayed flat. And that notable was particularly the sale of Westpac Life, which artificially makes those numbers look stronger year-on-year than they are in substance.
So over $1 billion, though, in statutory net profit. It goes to show the banking sector is performing well, in relatively good shape, despite COVID, Ukraine, situations like that.
Well, I think it's really important to have strong and well-capitalised banks as you look into some more challenging economic headwinds. And the reason that that's important is we need to have those reserves to be able to walk alongside our customers as they go through a more challenging economic time.
Well, the Green Party would describe your profit as immoral and unsustainable. What would you have to say to that?
I would say that that profit is flat year on year, and that it's very important that we have the resilience to be able to help our customers as we go through a more challenging economic time.
Well, how are you helping your customers?
So there's a number of things that we're doing. Firstly, we're making sure that we're more available to have great conversations with our customers. So the branches are open for more hours than they were before, and we've got more people on in our contact centres. The second thing that we're doing is particularly working with our fixed rate homeowners. Whilst they will have all been assessed at a 2.5% stress rate higher than their actual rate of borrowing, we're making sure that we are getting in touch with them earlier than we ever have done before to make sure we're having the right conversations early, to make sure that as their interest rates go up, that they've got the tools in place to help them be resilient and manage that transition really well.
You're saying overall most of your customers are in good shape?
Yes, we're not seeing any early warning signs so far of stress, but that's because pretty much all of our customers, there are some exceptions, as they step into a higher interest rate, that's lower than the level at which we did that stress test. But we know as we look into the year ahead that customers will start to go above that level that we did the stress test at, which is why that process of contacting them early is really important. We also contact them early so that they can get into a rate lock position 60 days prior to that rolls over. So it gives them real certainty in terms of what their outgoings would be.
You're talking about customers that will be refixing on mortgages, say, at 5 or 6%.
That's right. So there will be customers who would have taken out a rate lower than that, and they will be refixing at a rate higher than the rate that we originally stressed them at, and that will happen in the next financial year.
You've also warned about the economic outlook. Your counterpart at ANZ has described it as dark economic clouds on the horizon. How would you frame it?
So I think there are things that are definitely putting pressures on, and that is inflation. We can see that the labour market is causing us real challenges, but New Zealand is also benefiting as well. We've got the lower New Zealand dollar that is helping exporters. We're also seeing that tourists are starting returns. So yes, we have challenges, but we also have some things that are more positive if we compare it to the global outlook as well.
So the New Zealand economy is strong. What about inflation? Has it peaked?
We think it's getting near to that point, but very hard to call at this particular point in time. I think things are changing at a rate and pace faster than people had expected.
What are the overseas elements that you're keeping a close eye on? War in Ukraine?
So I think things that particularly impact the New Zealand market. So yes, the war is disruptive. Yes, supply chains are still a bit challenging. And particularly, we're still seeing some labour constraints in our markets. And so all of those things continue to have an impact on the New Zealand economy.
What is the outlook then for the economy and for your customers?
So we do think it will get more challenging as we look at the year ahead, and therefore making decisions to help customers is incredibly important. One of the things that we're doing is things like the Westpac warm-up loan. That's at 0% interest for Westpac home loan customers who want to do a couple of things. One, reduce their emissions, but even more importantly, I think in the short term, it's about reducing the cost of those utilities, because if you do those great things like making sure that you've got double glazing or a heat pump, they will reduce the ongoing costs that you've got of keeping your home warm. And so I think contributing in that way is really important.
But specifically about mortgages, that would be front of people's mind at the moment, who are going to be refixing on higher mortgages. How are you going to help them?
So we're helping them firstly by contacting them early, and if anybody is worried, we would encourage them to reach out to us as well. Secondly, making sure that we've got tools to help them in terms of their financial management. And then thirdly, it is things like the Westpac warm-up loan, because that helps reduce the cost of your outgoings because you've got a lower cost of heating your home.
How are you going to help people that are going to have to pay more for their mortgages, though?
So we're doing that by speaking to them earlier to help them make sure that they've got tools where they can think about, are there changes that they need to make in terms of their ongoing expenditure? And thirdly, doing what we can to help them make changes to their homes to make the cost of running them cheaper. Then so our view is by being proactive and helping customers early is really important because there's many tools at our disposal. If customers are getting even further into financial difficulty, we also have a range of tools like interest-only home loans, if you're in financial difficulty, taking a pause for a period of time. And so it depends at which point in time customers are, the array of tools that we've got to help them.
Coming back to your profit, statutory profit of just over $1 billion, is $1 billion profit too high?
So as I said when we talked about it at the beginning, it's really important, particularly as you face financial headwinds, to make sure that the banks are well capitalised and really robust so that they can help customers through difficult economic times.
What's your idea of a proposed windfall tax?
So any discussions about taxes are not for me. That's one for the government to talk through. But I think it continues to be important that you have really resilient and financially strong banks.